Hey y'all, it's Kim from Kim Dixon Creative. I'm here today for Not Too Shabby, and I am using some supplies from the August 2022 box of the month, as well as the card sketch from the mood board for August 2022. The card sketch is for an A2 card, but I'm going to kind of modify it and make two slimline cards using the slimline paper pad that came in the box of the month. It is pumpkin marshmallow, and it uses pink, which is my favorite color, and browns in the cardstock. And I do love those two colors together. So I have a piece of brown and a piece of pink solid that I've cut my card bases for my cards. I cut them at 8.5 by 7 and scored them along the 7-inch line at 3.5. And I'm cutting some coordinating mats now for the first card. The first mat was cut at 8.25 by 3.25. That was the pink polka dot. The brown plaid is cut at 3 by 8. And then I have two strips here of this wood grain that I'm cutting at 8.5 by 3/4. I'm saying that backwards. It's 3/4 by 8. Either way, it gets cut the same. But so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to glue down my mats to my card bases. I'm going to go real time on this first card so that we can really see what I'm doing here. On that A2 card sketch that we have on the blog, it shows having that A2 card with two card mats that are 1/4 of an inch smaller than the one before it. So you would have a 4.25 by 5.5 inch card base with a 5.25 by 4 inch mat and a 5 by 3 3/4 inch mat. Then it also shows to have the circles and the 3/4 inch strips. And so I wanted to use the slimline paper pad and some ephemera that went with it. So I have just modified it to be a slimline card. And you'll have to excuse my big bandage there. It's a eyesore, I'm sure. I had a little minor surgery on my hand this week, and so I have to wear that for a couple more days, and all is well, nothing major, just a little, they call it trigger thumb, whatever that is. Anyway, I have a little tendon in there that didn't move up and down the channel like it was supposed to on my thumb. And so the doctor had to go in and clean that up. So one thing I did notice, as you'll see on this, our paper pad is just a skosh longer than 8.5. And so I ended up, I'm just going to take my Tim Holtz shears here in just a second and trim those tops off because they're longer than my card base. I didn't measure them. I just assumed they were 8.5, but they are a little bit longer than that. Probably closer to 8 5/8 maybe. But no big deal. We just take those shears and trim them off. And as you can see, that bandage keeps me fumbling with things. So I'm awkward. I'm the awkward crafter of the day. So anyway, but I'm still crafting. No surgery's going to keep that down. I'm still going to craft. So anyway, I'm just I cut these two circles. The wood grain I cut at 3 inches. It was a 3-inch die, and then my solid piece there is cut at 2.5. That's a little bit different than the card sketch tells you to do for the A2 card, but I felt like I could use the larger size circle on this slimline card. And I know it's a surprise for anybody that's ever watched me make a card, but there's going to be some foam tape here on my card. That's I almost always have some kind of foam tape or something on my card, and this one is no exception. So I'm getting that foam tape on there just as awkwardly as I can, and gonna pop up that pink pumpkin. I mean, a pink pumpkin. Who wouldn't want a pink pumpkin? That's just awesome. Pink pumpkins, just love it. So I'm getting that released paper off the back of my foam tape, and I'm gonna pop that up in the middle of my circle. This box of the month is sold out, but there are a few elements still left in the shop, and I've linked those in the description box below. I've also left a discount code in the description box below, so you can go over and do some shopping and get a little discount. So I know that the 2 paper pads are still available. They're both very pretty. This slimline paper pad is more pastel and soft, and the 6x6 paper pad is very vibrant. It's sunflowers and black and white, and so it's really pretty. So I popped up my circle and I popped up the pumpkin. So I end up with a double layer of foam there, which is okay by me. So here's the second card that I created. Like I say, I sped it up just a little bit. I used the faux glitter page, and then the brown with the white hearts on it. And then I used the pink gingham for my 2 strips and one of my circles. I trimmed that off before I glued it down. Instead of using the shears like I did before, I realized that it was longer, so I went ahead and trimmed those before I glued them down. And then there's my little pink circle that's going to go in the middle of my pink gingham. Again, those are cut. The gingham is 3 inches. The solid is 2.5. And then I'm going to pop this little piece of ephemera up using my foam tape. If you hear snoring in the background, it's not a grown man, it's my dog. She snores so badly, and she's sleeping here beside me, so she needs a doggy CPAP pretty bad. But I'm also going to pop up that circle just like I did on the other card. Nothing different there. And just pop that right in the center. Just like that. So I decided I wanted some bling on my cards. I found these little jewels that I had in my stash. The ones I'm putting on this card are brown. They kind of look red in the camera, but they are brown. They're a dark brown, and they coordinate well. And then on the other card, I'm going to use just the clear ones, just the rhinestone looking ones. Kind of wish I would have went with the brown ones. They kind of get lost there, but they're still pretty on the card. So now I'm going to put a couple of sentiments. I'm going to stamp out, I'm going to take that stamp set that was in the box of the month that had all the pumpkins and the sunflowers on it. And I'm going to use my Simon Hurley Weeping Willow ink. I'm just going to test it out here because, one, I've never used that stamp, that part of the stamp. And two, these are new inks to me, so just making sure that I know how they act. And I didn't get my stamp inked very well, so I'm going to stamp it a third time, and then I get a good impression like I want. One of them is going to say, "Hello, friend." And the other sentiment is thankful for you. And truthfully, could have put both of those sentiments on each card and just said, "Hello, friend, thankful for you." But I just decided to go with one sentiment. I like the simpleness of a one-line sentiment. Sometimes I like an elaborate one, but today I just wanted something simple along the bottom of the card. And I love the font of these sentiment stamps. So I'm just gonna, now that I've got all that done, I'm just gonna trim these down to 2 little sentiment strips using my paper trimmer. And didn't get that quite close enough, so I'm going to have to do that again. But then just, I didn't want it very big, just a little, just big enough for the font to be on the paper. And my paper there is a little bit too narrow for me to hold, so I'm going to use a little piece of mint tape and tape it down where I want it to be on my trimmer so that it doesn't move on me. And then just cut it there in the half. And then I'm going to pop that up on foam tape. So I'm going to cut a piece and just half it between the two and pop those up at the bottom of my cards. Hopefully pop those up. Again, I'm a little awkward with that hand, and you would know it's my right hand, but just doesn't. There's too much bulk there in my hand, and it keeps me from using my hand like I want to. But at any rate, there are the 2 cards, and now I had some scraps left from when I trimmed everything up, and so I'm going to decorate the insides of my card. I'm just going to put that strip. It was, just a scrap from where I trimmed off a piece of that paper for a mat. And I'm just going to put it along the right side of the side of my card on the inside, just to bring a little bit of the outside in. You saw me turning my card to make sure that I was putting my hearts the right side up and on the right side of the inside of my card. So there are my two cards. I am so thankful that you stopped by to check out the video today. I hope that you are inspired. If you found value in this card or in these cards, thanks again for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed. Bye.